100 years ago, Nikola Tesla discovered a healing technology that threatened the entire pharmaceutical industry. The day he died, the government seized everything. For 100 years, this technology was hidden. Until now, plasma is back. Tesla Club, tzla.club.
Finally, the government. Come on, John. They took a few years, didn't they, to catch up with this? But here they are. What are your thoughts on what's being presented to us?
It took weeks after the turn of the year for Trump and the Pentagon to announce they were going to release files on unexplained craft that they have in their possession. The thing that I would strongly caution about, however, is, of course, that authority lies. Well, that's what it does. And the higher the authority, the more it lies. And so when they are now saying we're going to reveal things about the possible alien presence, then we've got to be very careful, because they won't be doing it for the good of humanity and for transparency. They'll be doing it for the fact that it suits them. I don't think for a moment that this UFO phenomenon has one explanation. I think it has a number of explanations, all of which very possibly are true. And I think they are. One, which I came across in the 1990s when I was talking to whistleblowers and stuff in America, is that some of these UFOs are flown by humans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have this anti-gravity craft technology where they throw an electromagnetic field around the craft and they basically disconnect it from the normal laws of physics. That's why they do these amazing things. And we think, well, how is that possible? Because it's been very clear to me since the 1990s that there are very clearly two levels of technological development. There's the apparent cutting edge in the public arena, and then there's the cutting edge outside the public arena. And it's my view that the reason that as this technological control system, that's what it is has been rolled out, and you've seen it getting faster and faster and faster. And I would suggest that that's because this technology already existed outside the public arena in the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases, and the secret projects. And so they're playing it out in a sequence. And the sequence is designed as fast as they can. But the sequence is designed to kid the public that it's organic, that they're just expanding and advancing technology as a matter of natural course. I don't think in terms of this cutting edge technology that they are. I think it already existed and they're playing it out in a sequence. Now, what you need to do if you're going to do that is you need front people and cover stories to give people the impression that there are multiple different ways that this technology has been developed. And I remember I did have a laugh when I was watching it. A few years ago now, I was watching a 2-part documentary series. It was on the BBC, so, you know, you've got to be careful.
Yeah.
But it was about Silicon Valley. And I remember clearly there was a sequence where it was a series of garage doors in Silicon Valley. And they were saying behind this garage door this was invented, behind this garage door, this now that is, used by everyone, started out life, and behind this garage door. And I was watching it, and I had this picture in my mind of people sitting around that table going, too many garage doors, mate. Someone's going to suss it, right? So, can we be a bit more creative with the cover stories? No more garage doors. Because you have your front men, you have your Bill Gateses, you have your Jeff Bezoses, you have your Elon Musks, and your Larry guy, what's his name?
The guy that owns the Hawaiian Island, the funny-looking fella,
yeah.
BlackRock, Dinky Donk.
Larry Fink
That's
is
it.
the head of BlackRock, and the guy who's currently head of the World Economic Forum. But anyway, all these Peter Thiel, another one. You have these people who are the front people, the technological front people. They're the cover stories for how this stuff is getting out there. For instance, Palantir and Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, that was seed funded by the CIA, a company called In-Q-Tel, or a CIA front called In-Q-Tel, which, like DARPA, the technological development arm of the Pentagon, seed funds companies and technology that it wants to develop in the interests of this control system. So for instance, in Israel, they are massively advanced in terms of technology and AI, and systematically so. And what they do is they have this place at Beersheba. It's a massive military technology cyber center, which is, has something like 20,000 troops and what have you. And what it's doing, the Israeli government, they're scanning the schools and the universities, and they're looking for really gifted, talented young people in relation to technology, cyber, and all the rest of it. And when they bring them in to, what we would call the draft, they join the military after, I think it's 2 years or so in the Israeli military. They don't send them into Gaza. They park their backsides in Beersheba at this cyber center. And what then happens is Israel was called the center of startup companies, and it's like the startup nation. It was called, still operates in that same area. So what you have is technology developed in the secret projects, technology that they want in the public arena as part of this global control system. And what they do is they'll say to their students, their military students, if you like, tech students, you start this company up, a startup, and this is the technology that will give you to, yes, create a cover story for how this got into the public arena. And if you notice, and I've looked at this a lot, if you notice, you've got these startups companies, right, which just like come out of nowhere, but they suddenly attract vast amounts of investment.
Mm-hmm.
Where did this come from?
Yeah.
A bunch of kids.
Yeah.
But because what they're doing is creating the cover story to get the technology into the public arena. Well, people think, oh, these bunch of kids came up with it. No, they didn't. It's a secret project. They're just the cover story. And the other thing that they do in Israel, which is very significant, is they'll then send people off, these military people. It's why when you look into the background of so many of these, the people I'm talking about, you see military backgrounds and intelligence backgrounds, and they'll send off Mossad agents to start a security company, right? And or they'll send off Shin Bet agents, the domestic intelligence agency in Israel, to start a security company. And just by coincidence, nothing to worry about, one of them ended up running security on 9/11. Oh, just a coincidence, nothing to concern us. But what they do is they'll send people off to Silicon Valley, and they'll become big names in the Silicon Valley arena. For instance, the guy we're thinking of is Larry Ellison, and Larry Ellison, who's being given massive media companies to buy by Trump, who's owned by Israel. He's now owns CBS and TikTok in America and all that stuff. Well, he is the biggest private funder of the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, the Israeli military. So this is how it works, and that's a long backstory leading to the subject we're talking about, which is they've also been developing technology that we call UFOs. You see, if you can disconnect the perception among the population of what's possible, what humans are capable of, you can sell them that fake cutting edge, and at the same time, your secret cutting edge is far more advanced. When people see your cutting edge in the sky, for instance, they immediately think aliens when it doesn't have to be. Then you have craft, which I think are far more sophisticated than the human level of it, as you would expect, that are of non-human in nature. And then you have what I would call the interdimensional level of this, where people are non-human species, whatever you want to call them, entities, are coming in and out of our very narrow band of frequency that we can see, visible light, coming in and out, and they appear out of nowhere and disappear into nowhere, but they haven't. They've just come into our field of vision, which is very tiny, like I say, called visible light, and then they leave it. And to the observer, they've appeared out of nowhere and then disappeared into nowhere. But they haven't. They've just entered the frequency we can see and then left it again. So I think there are many different explanations for different levels of this. And of course, if you are wanting to make people think of it must be aliens, then you can fly these craft at the cutting edge of the secret projects, and people will think it's aliens. I'm the last person to say aliens don't exist, or non-human species, I would rather call them, exist. But I think we have to be careful that you know, there are different levels to this, and it's important that we are very canny and streetwise and questioning about anything that they tell us. Because if they tell us, it's because they want us to know.
If you want to read more and watch more of my content, then go to the description under the video where you can buy my books. The latest one is The Roadmap, where you can get tickets for public events, and how you can subscribe to a fantastic video channel called Iconic, iconic.com.